Hey everybody, welcome to drinknectar.com. I'm your host, Josh Wade, and tonight is Oscar night, and as Hollywood celebrates the best that the movie industry has to offer, we're going to be celebrating with 3 champagnes, or wines that are made in a sparkling wine fashion. We've got 3 items here, 3 wines here from 3 different areas of the world. We're going to be going from Spain to Austria, and then to the United States. I want to thank the Atlanta wine guy for his recommendations, not only for sparkling wines, but other value wines. The first wine we're going to be doing is from Spain, and it's a Segura Vidas, and this is a Brut style. I probably mispronounced that, but it's 11.5 alcohol by volume, 11.5%. I've got some strawberries, I've got some cheese, and I have some whipped cream is here as well. While I was at the grocery store, I didn't know what cheese to pick out with sparkling wine, so I asked some people on Twitter. I got several responses, all the way ranging from smoked salmon to several cheese items, and I ended up with a Havarti that was recommended by one of the Twitter followers. So this wine here, you can tell the sparkling wine is on the very pale side, kind of reminiscent of a Chardonnay, a little bit lighter than a Chardonnay color. You can see the bubbles coming through on that. Let's give it a sniff. Pretty tight nose, getting some apple toast in there, but really a lot of yeastiness that's coming out of the yeast they use to create the champagne process, the fermentation and all of that. Seems like a pretty yeasty wine, sparkling wine, but let's give it the sip. I know it's supposed to be bubbly, it's supposed to be carbonated, but really kind of swells up in your mouth, especially when you're trying to get any kind of flavor out of it at all. Definitely has some of that coating as it coats the mouth, like a Chardonnay. It's crisp, it's decent, $7, $8 I believe is all it is. Certainly a good everyday sparkling wine. Wouldn't necessarily pull it out for some special occasions. Let's see if it kind of mellows out a little bit with the sweetness of a strawberry and the whipped cream. Much better. Kind of balances out some of that tartness and the acidity and the carbonation that's in there. Makes it a lot more palatable. All right, next we're going to take a trip to California. We're moving from Spain all the way to California, and this is a Roederer Estates from California, from 4 different vineyards across the state in the Anderson Valley. This one scored 91 points Wine Spectator, 92 points Wine Advocate, and it can be purchased for around $22. Let's give this one the sniff. This is still a little bit tight on the nose, but you don't do a lot of sniffing of a sparkling wine. But what comes out is like a honey toast. We had some apple toast, now we've got some honey toast, a lot less yeastiness. Give it a sip. A much better flavor profile. Obviously, it's more than 2 times the price. But this wine actually comes across as being able to be drunk. I could swirl a little in my mouth without having the carbonation just overwhelm me. Didn't coat my mouth like the last one seemed to do with that yeasty flavor. Definitely got some fruit coming out of it with real crisp Granny Smith apple. The honey flavor was in there. The finish is still lingering across the back palate of my mouth. Excellent wine. This would be a great sparkling wine to pull out for a special occasion or for a group. If you're making a toast for something special, this would certainly be one to include. Let's give this one a try with the Havarti, just because it seems to be a well-made wine. We've got a Havarti, which is a really creamy cheese. Great combination. The cheese actually helps to tone down some of the acidity. The creaminess starts to mix within your mouth. If you haven't tried this before, if you're not really into mixing wine with cheese, sometimes you can go way wrong, but the recommendation I got from my Twitter friends this time was right on, so thank you. Now we're going to travel off to Austria, and this is a Gruner Veltliner, which I'm sure I also butchered, also known as Groovy. And I've had some of this particular grape in a non-sparkling fashion. But this is a 100% Gruner Veltliner grape. Let's give it a sniff. Definitely can tell the grape that's being used here, just because I've recently had some groovy in some with dinner lately. But you've got that real bright apple pear. You can tell the acidity is coming up through the back end. This is actually really good. It's a lot different than the last wine, being that it's not as honey, toasty, oakiness. There seems to be more of that citrus play in there. So you've got the apple, the crisp, real tart kind of Granny Smith apple, and then really on the back end you get some lemon lime, almost some tropical flavors in there as well. The carbonation is not overwhelming. It seems to be like it would play well with the fruit in here. But let's give it a try with the strawberry and the whipped cream. Not quite as good with the strawberry and the whipped cream. The sweetness of the strawberry is not playing really well with the tartness of the lemon lime citrusy that you have in this wine. So overall, I think the best pairing here would have been the strawberries and whipped cream. Went really well with the Brut from Spain, and then obviously the cheese that I paired with the item from California is a phenomenal pairing. So right now they're celebrating the Oscars. We're going to be awarding the Best Picture, later in the evening. For me, I want to know what your favorite movie is. I haven't seen a lot of the Oscar-nominated movies this year, but my favorite movie of all time is Forrest Gump. The play, the storyline throughout the whole movie, and the love story that follows it throughout as Forrest and his undying love for Jenny is phenomenal. So that's one of my all-time favorites. I watch it at least one time per year. What's your favorite movie? What's something that you always can pop in the DVD player, or if you're going old school, you've got the VCR and you're plugging it in there. What's something you watch? I wish we could take a bottle of wine to the movies and enjoy it with friends, because life is always meant to be enjoyed with friends. So if you're watching the Oscars, hope you're enjoying a bottle of wine with your friends, and drink happy.